All right, welcome. My name is Michael. It is another episode of our meetup on Zoom. It's called our Zoom Up. I am co-hosted by my buddy Scott over in Chicago. What's up, Scott?
What's going on, guys? Welcome into the Dewey.
Okay, we're having some fun out here. We have a new story to share with you today, and the whole premise behind these videos is to remind you what's possible if you take control of your life, you design it, and you really get a hold of your finances, your time, and your relationships, and you start prioritizing these things. What could really happen? What could happen with your income, your time, your freedom, your well-being, your happiness, your mindset? All these things start to change when you take control, when you live a life by design. And today's guest is doing just that. I know he's still working a full-time job, but he is on his way to an amazing portfolio. So I know it's not going to be something he's doomed to the rest of his life. But he's been very creative. He's been a part of our community for a couple years now. And the various ways that he's been adding cash flow to his life has been pretty impressive. He also helps new members get oriented into how to take advantage of our system. And so I figured today would be a great day for you to hear his story. Now, after this video, there's going to be some more that you need to watch, either recordings or live, because we have a lot to show you behind the scenes with real estate and entrepreneurship and really what's possible. So without further ado, let me introduce to you our guest of honor today, Mr. Connor Simmons.
Yay!
Sweet, guys. Thank you so much, Michael. This is a ton of fun. I'm excited to be here today. Just real quick, are we doing question answer at all, or do I got the floor?
No, it's all you, man. Just tell us a little bit about what made you decide, to link arms with us and join our community.
I'm interested in what you were. What were you before you found this that made you say, I got to find this? And then start from there.
Okay, so my story, I like to share my story, of course, who doesn't, but is a little bit different than most people. I feel like most people come in with like this doom and gloom. I hate my job. I hate my life. Or maybe not hate, but they're dissatisfied. But frankly, I have a degree in mechanical engineering. And I was making $71,000 a year. And I was, I guess, satisfied is probably not the right word, but I was doing okay by the terms of the world. Had a couple of kids, and we were still living paycheck to paycheck. And that's where I was thinking, I was like, how is it that I can get ahead? How is it that I can go out and do what I want to in the world, help other people, and of course, travel and spend time with my family. And so that's really where I started exploring other opportunities. And I'm fortunate enough that Nate Lambert is my cousin. And so Mr. Nate, was persistent and kept bugging me and said, hey, come check out what we're doing. And that's really what got me going. That's what helped me get traction, we'll say. And so before, like I said, I guess by the, definition in the world, I was successful. But honestly, I wasn't satisfied. And so I was looking for more than what was out there. So okay. So let's talk about a little bit about what I've done. So I joined 2.5 years ago. And I'm going to be very honest. My first 8 months were a ton of learning. I was doing everything I could to learn, and take action. And I'll be honest, my first 8 months was a freaking roller coaster. I did not find any success in my first 8 months. Then fast forward to now. So about 20 months since then, I've now completed my 24th or 25th transaction. I own 13 rental units, 11 of which are short-term rentals. So I do a lot in the Airbnb world. Fortunately and unfortunately, I guess I don't manage them because I'm more interested in acquiring properties and having them cash flow. So I have a management company that takes care of everything for me. It's the Havens. They're in Renatus. They're an awesome couple to know. So they manage them all for me, and we cash flow per property anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 a month per property. So some fun numbers. I no longer live paycheck to paycheck. We have a positive, after we pay all of our mortgages, We have a positive cash flow of over $2,500 a month, and that's conservative because Airbnb kind of goes up and down, and that's through a pandemic as well. So we have, and that's, so I pay all my mortgages, positive cash flow of $2,500 a month. And let's see, what else do I want to throw out there? Oh, this one's a killer fun one. I just calculated it. If I pay off all my mortgages in 30 years with appreciation, I will have a net worth of over $5 million, and I don't have to acquire one single property. But my goal is 100. So I'm going to acquire 100 properties over the next 10 years, if not sooner. And so if my net worth is going to be 5 million in 5 years, or sorry, in 30 years, but that, guys, that's not even including my cash flow, right? So we're cash flowing all this money. And I guess I should back up a little bit too. I've got these 13 units and I'm actually a 50% owner in all of them. And I only have one of them on my credit. So people that are worried about their credit or their income, I've been able to acquire 13 units only using my credit on one of the homes. And so let that sink in. If you're worried about that kind of stuff, guys, get creative and you can have a ton of fun and make a lot of money. So Michael, I don't know how to do. What else do you want to hear? Do you have questions, clarifications? I just kind of brain dumped there on you.
Yeah, no, I'm curious. How did you balance all, because you already have a degree, you've already invested so much time in your education, to then spend all this other time in education. What was that like for you?
Oh man, I had just finished my degree a year before I joined, so I was very much still in the mode of studying. Some people think like, oh, you have a mechanical engineering degree, you must be super smart. I just like to think I'm a pretty hard worker. And so transitioning from, that degree really wasn't that hard to keep studying. But the work-life balance was challenging. And fortunately enough, to clarify something, I actually work 30 hours a week now instead of 40 hours a week at my full-time job. But the biggest thing was, honestly, is persistence, because those first 8 months I did 10 hours a week. That's all I could do, just between work and just everything. My wife had a medical condition going on at the time that we're totally past now, but life was stressful. But I did 10 hours every single week, whether it was Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, whatever I had to do to get my 10 hours a week of education and action. And that paid dividends. And once that started paying dividends is when I was able to go part-time. And now May 1st is I should probably say this quietly, May 1st is my last day here, if not sooner.
Oh, that is awesome, man.
I got a question.
Yeah.
How long did Nate bother you before you went to the meeting?
So my first exposure was actually while I was in college, but is a senior year of a mechanical engineering degree is rigorous, and so I just did not have the time to commit. So I did come to a couple of exposures. Once I graduated, as you can imagine, getting a job was kind of busy, but Nate kept me. I probably came to 4 events, 1 a quarter for the first year. And then once I finally realized, holy crap, I need this. That's when I hopped in head first, full Extreme Plus combo, and haven't looked back since.
And question, so you were actually attending events for a year before you're like, all right, now I'm ready.
Why? Yeah.
Why? No, it was a year. So you said 1 a quarter, so like 4 quarters.
Yeah, so so it was about a year from the time I first saw it to when I finally bought in.
Okay.
Knowing what you know now, would you have done it sooner?
Absolutely. I don't regret finishing my mechanical engineering degree. I was 5.5 years into it when I was exposed. And so I do not regret finishing that degree because it set up a really good foundation for me. However, as soon as I graduated, I would have hopped right in right then and there. But it was probably a little bit too, because I didn't understand how I would finance that, because coming out of college, I had student debt. I wasn't about to just go drop a bunch of money. So it was actually once Nate taught me the 0% interest credit card strategy that's when I pulled the trigger, was because I finally connected how to do that without having to come up with the money myself. And I've never paid a penny in credit card interest in my life.
Great. It's great.
That is awesome.
So,
That is awesome.
fun stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. Way cool, man.
Nice.
So,
Well,
so you said you got about 6 more months as you're building up your portfolio, and then you'll be able to be entrepreneur full time, and that is really exciting, man. That's a pretty quick transition in 3 years.
I got a question. I got another question.
Yeah.
So you say $2,500 on the 13 units that you have, or no, 11 Airbnbs, right? So $2,500 is your low end, like through COVID. What's the max if they were full? If they were full for an entire month, what would that end up being?
So it's such a good question, because most of my units, I'm crazy. I've set most of mine up in a pandemic, because you figure I set my very first one up a year and a half ago, and then I set up, I think I had 4 set up before the pandemic, and we've set up the rest through the pandemic. And it's crazy. I see people closing their doors because they don't have creative strategies on how to make their unit succeed. So it's all projections, right? But a lot. Like I would anticipate, and actually I should back up. I have 13 units, but 4 of them are under construction, so we only have 11 right now. But we already own the 4, but they're not cash flowing.
Yeah. I heard the 11.
So
So a mechanical engineer, come on, dude, you got numbers in your brain. What would be the max if they were full?
If we're at the 2,500 was calculated off of the 9 that are up and going. We're talking $10,000 cash flow easy if we're full, and once we get those other 4 units up and going. And really quick, my stuff's really, really creative. Part of the way that I get people to invest with me, right, is I've bought a lot of these houses with, for example, the last one I did, my credit partner put $70,000 down. I put $10,000 down. They put 100% on their credit. So to make it fair, I actually give them 75% of the cash flow, but only until they recoup their initial investment. But I still get 50% of the equity, 50% of the appreciation, 50% of the tax write-offs. And in about 6 or 7 years, I will then get 50% of the cash flow. So my cash flows are a little skewed, but dude, I can scale this to infinity because I'm not using my credit. I'm using other people's credit. And so my numbers are a little funky because when our cash flow is $1,200, I'm only getting $300, right? But I'm getting the mortgage paid on, the appreciation, and the tax write-offs. And in 6 to 7 years, I will get 50% of the cash flow. And in the interim, in Salt Lake City, our appreciation is insane. And so I'm looking at $100,000 easy in appreciation and mortgage pay down. And I've only put $10,000 into it on my knowledge. So
nice.
10 G's in and a bunch of know-how.
A bunch of know-how. That's all it is.
Gets you out of your job by May. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Cool, man. Well, I think this has been a pretty inspiring story.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah,
it's been fun. It's been a lot of work, but man, it has paid off. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You know what they always say? We do things today that others are unwilling to do, so we can do things tomorrow that others can't afford to do. So
exactly.
That's right. Put in the work now. Don't sit around waiting for the government or the world or your boss or something else to change for you. It's time for you to make a change. And Connor's a great example of that. Embracing our culture, the training, the community, and facing his fears and going after it. And now you can see the rewards he's been reaping and all the future rewards that are coming. It's hard work, like he said. It takes time, but your life is absolutely worth it. And that's what our message is here. So get back with the person that sent you to this link, get the other videos, and then get started. Get a strategy session scheduled so you can really start to personalize where you're at and where we can help you in that arena of real estate investing. Anything else you want to throw out here, Scott?
Yeah, you know, we've got over 30 of these recorded now of different students doing different deals and in different situations. So you may want to just keep watching them until one resonates or you hit your breaking point. You're like, I gotta do this. That's what's going to happen. So if you don't want that to happen, don't watch another one. If you want it to happen, keep watching.
Right on, man. Yep. Grab the playlist on our YouTube channel, Elevate Renatus. Go and check it out. And for those of you who are catching this live, this Saturday, we're doing a workshop featuring one of our instructors. It's an all-day workshop. It's by invitation only. It's not open to the public, so you'll need to have the private registration link. The person who got you here today can get you registered for that. It is going to blow the socks off your capabilities. I mean, the guy who's doing this deal, this strategy, makes over $600,000 a year passive. He spends a couple hours a week managing the deals. Now, of course, he set it up and he worked his butt off for quite a while, for about 12 years to do this. But now he gets to lay back and work a system. So he's going to open up his system for us this Saturday. So you definitely want to get registered for that, and then pay attention. Turn off all distractions. It's going to be awesome. So thanks again, everyone, for being here. Connor, congratulations to you and your success.
Thanks, Connor. Thanks, Connor.
And we'll see you guys on our next episode.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for your help, Keely.
Bye, everyone.